Hi, everyone. Welcome back to English Podcast, day 25 of the 30-Day English Challenge.
Day 25. Yesterday, we explained processes step by step. Today, we're going back to negotiating, but with a bit of a twist.
A twist? What do you mean?
Well, on day 17, we negotiated prices at a market. Today's topic is let's make a deal. But this time, we're negotiating something bigger, like a schedule change with a boss.
Oh, that's a really different feeling. Negotiating a mango price is one thing. Negotiating your actual work schedule feels a lot higher stakes.
It really is. There's more on the line, and honestly, more fear of saying the wrong thing to someone who has real influence over your job.
I definitely get nervous just thinking about asking my manager for anything, even something small.
Totally normal. Asking for a schedule change can feel like you're asking for a huge favor, even when it's actually a completely reasonable request.
So today's episode helps make that request feel less scary and more like a normal professional conversation.
Exactly. We're going to build a structure specifically for these bigger workplace style negotiations.
Before the structure, let's talk about where this actually comes up, because it's more than just schedules, right?
Definitely. Schedule changes are the classic one, but also negotiating deadlines, remote work days, vacation time, or even the scope of a project you're working on.
Oh, and salary or promotion timing too? That's probably one of the highest stakes negotiations most people will ever have.
Definitely high stakes. Though honestly, the same basic structure works whether you're asking for an extra hour of sleep or a raise.
I like that. Same skill, just very different consequences.
Right, and it comes up outside of work too, negotiating chores with a roommate or negotiating shared responsibilities with a partner.
Oh, and even negotiating your own goals, honestly, like adjusting a personal deadline you set for yourself.
True, though that one's a little easier since you're only negotiating with yourself.
Fair point. And freelance work, too, negotiating rates or deadlines with a client, which is honestly its own whole skill set.
True, freelancers basically negotiate constantly, often with people they've never even met in person.
And even negotiating meeting times across time zones if you work with international teams.
Definitely. That would combines negotiating with a whole extra layer of scheduling puzzles.
Okay, before the structure, one more question. Is there a cultural side to this, too?
Actually, yes, a genuinely useful one for this specific type of negotiation. In a lot of English speaking workplaces, requests land much better when they're framed around mutual benefit, not just personal need.
What do you mean exactly?
I mean, instead of just saying this would help me, it helps to also mention how it benefits the team or the company. This would help me stay more focused, which should also improve my output. Lands very differently than just, I want this.
Oh, that's such a smart shift. It shows you've actually thought about their side too, not just your own.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be complicated, just a genuine connection between what helps you and what helps everyone involved.
That's such a useful mindset. Okay, now I really want the structure. What is it?
It's simple. A good workplace negotiation has four parts: state the request clearly, explain the benefit, address any concerns, and invite discussion.
The request, the benefit, concerns, and inviting discussion. Let's try one.
Confident ready. I'd like to ask about starting work an hour earlier, at 9:30 instead of 8:30. I found that much more focused later in the morning, which should help my overall output. I understand this might affect early meetings, so I'm happy to stay flexible on those days. Would it be possible to try this for a month and see how it goes?
Impressed. See? Request, starting later, benefit, better focus and output, concern, early meetings addressed proactively, invite, a 1 month trial suggestion.
Let's do another one. I wanted to ask about working from home 2 days a week. I've noticed I'm significantly more productive without office distractions, especially for focused tasks. I know collaboration matters too, so I'd still come in for any team meetings. Could we possibly try this arrangement for a few weeks?
That's such a calm, well thought out request. It genuinely sounds like someone who's already considered the other side.
Exactly. That's the goal. Confident, but also clearly thoughtful about how the request affects everyone else too.
I also noticed something. The trial idea connects a lot to day 20, problem solving, offering a smaller, easier first step instead of one big, permanent decision.
Great connection. A trial period genuinely lowers the risk for the other person, which makes saying yes so much easier for them.
Can we try one more, just the two of us, before moving to different personas?
Sure, let's try negotiating a deadline extension. I wanted to talk about the deadline for the report. Given the extra research involved, I think an extra 2 days would really improve the final quality. I know timing matters, so I'll make sure everything else stays on track in the meantime. Would a short extension be possible?
Notice how it's not just I need more time, it's specifically connected to quality, which clearly benefits the actual work too.
Exactly. Framing it around quality, not just personal convenience, makes the request feel a lot more reasonable and professional.
Can we try one more example, maybe from a different kind of person, just so listeners really understand?
Sure. Let's imagine a student negotiating an assignment extension. I wanted to ask about extending the deadline for my essay. I've hit an unexpected research issue that's genuinely affecting the quality of my argument. I understand deadlines matter, so I'd only need 2 extra days, not a full week. Would that be possible?
Request, a short extension. Benefit, better research and quality. Concern, respecting the deadline system, addressed by keeping the ask small. Invite, a direct, polite question.
And one more, someone negotiating vacation time around a busy period at work. I wanted to ask about taking a week off next month. I know it's typically a busier period, so I'd be glad to finish my current projects early or hand things off clearly beforehand. Is there a way we could make that work?
Hand things off clearly beforehand? Such a thoughtful detail. It basically removes the manager's biggest worry before they even have to ask.
Right. And notice, none of these examples sounded demanding, just clear, considerate, and genuinely open to a real conversation.
That's really reassuring. I always thought negotiating with a boss meant sounding confident to the point of being pushy.
Not at all. Confident and considerate together usually get you a far better result than confident and pushy alone.
Okay, your turn. Pause the episode and negotiate a schedule change with an imaginary boss using the four-part structure: the request, the benefit, addressing concerns, and inviting discussion. Ready? Go.
Nice job. Now, here's a small tip. If your request gets rejected, it's still worth asking what would need to change for it to work in the future.
Why does that matter?
Because it turns a flat no into useful information. What would make this possible down the line keeps the conversation open instead of just ending it completely.
That's such a good habit. It shows you're thinking long term, not just giving up after the first no.
Exactly. Even an unsuccessful negotiation can still move things forward if you ask the right follow-up question.
Could you give an example of that using our schedule change idea?
Sure. I understand it's not possible right now. Would it help if I revisit it after the current project wraps up? That keeps the door open instead of just quietly giving up.
That's such a graceful way to handle a no. It shows patience without disappearing from the conversation completely.
Exactly. And managers genuinely remember that kind of maturity, often more than the original request itself.
Mr. B, what mistakes do people usually make when negotiating something like this? I feel like I've made a few of these already.
Good question. Mistake number one, being too vague about the actual request. Just saying, I need more flexibility, without specifying exactly what that means.
Guilty. I definitely default to vague hints, hoping the other person will somehow guess what I actually want.
Right, and unfortunately, most managers aren't mind readers, however much we might wish they were.
Okay, mistake one, too vague. What's next?
Mistake number two, focusing only on personal benefit and never mentioning how it might help the team or the company at all.
Oh, that's such an easy trap to fall into. It's genuinely hard to think beyond your own perspective sometimes.
Completely understandable, but connecting it to a shared benefit, even briefly, makes the whole request land much more persuasively.
What's mistake number three?
Mistake number three, not anticipating any objections and getting caught off guard when the other person raises a completely reasonable concern.
Right, and then you just freeze, completely unprepared for a question you honestly should have expected.
Exactly. Addressing likely concerns before they're even raised makes you sound genuinely thoughtful, not defensive.
Okay, mistake number 4.
Mistake number 4, presenting the request as completely non-negotiable instead of genuinely open to discussion.
Right, like announcing a decision instead of actually proposing one and staying open to feedback.
Exactly. A little flexibility in how you present it usually gets a much warmer, more collaborative response.
Conducting a thought experiment, is there a mistake number 5? There's always one more.
There is. Mistake number 5, going all or nothing instead of offering a smaller trial or a middle ground option first.
Oh, like immediately asking for a permanent change instead of easing into it with something smaller and lower risk.
Exactly. A trial period is genuinely one of the most effective tools in this entire kind of negotiation.
Quick bonus thought. Does timing matter too? Like choosing a good moment to actually bring this up?
Absolutely. Timing matters a lot. Asking during a calm, unhurried moment usually works far better than catching someone right before a stressful deadline.
That makes sense. Even the best worded request can land badly if the timing's completely wrong.
Exactly. A little patience about when you ask is just as important as how you actually phrase it.
5 mistakes, 5 easy fixes, plus 1 bonus tip about timing. Okay, one more question. Does negotiating something like this change depending on the situation, formal versus casual?
Great question. Yes. In a formal situation, like a scheduled meeting with your manager, you stay structured, professional, and specific throughout.
Like, I'd like to formally request a discussion about adjusting my working hours based on recent productivity patterns I've noticed.
Exactly. Clear, professional, and framed around evidence, not just personal preference.
And in a casual situation, like a quick chat with a manager you already know really well?
In a casual situation, you can relax a little more. Hey, do you have a sec? I wanted to float an idea about maybe shifting my hours a bit. Would that even be possible?
Float an idea, such a casual, low-pressure way to bring up something that could otherwise feel like a big deal.
It's true. Casual negotiating can feel more like a friendly suggestion, while formal negotiating stays clearly structured.
So, formal negotiating stays structured and evidence-based, and casual negotiating can feel more like a relaxed, friendly suggestion.
Exactly. Same 4-part structure underneath, just a very different tone depending on the relationship.
Can we try one more? Maybe negotiating project scope, since we mentioned that earlier.
Sure. Formally, in a project review meeting, given the additional requirements that came up, I'd like to propose adjusting either the timeline or the scope so we can maintain the same level of quality. Casually, with a manager you know really well, honestly, this project's grown a lot bigger than we planned. Mind if we talk about trimming something or pushing the date a bit?
Grown a lot bigger than we planned. Such an honest, relatable way to describe project scope creep.
It's true. Every project ever, honestly. Formal negotiating frames it around requirements and quality. Casual negotiating just tells it like it is. Let's practice that difference. Pause again and negotiate the same request 2 ways, once formally, once casually. Go ahead.
Great job, everyone. Okay, let's move to word tour.
Word 1, proposal. This means a suggested plan or idea. Example, I'd like to share a quick proposal.
Word 2, accommodate. This means to make changes to fit someone's needs. Example, we might be able to accommodate that.
Word 3, trade-off. This means giving up one thing to gain another. Example, there's always a bit of a trade-off.
Word 4, leverage. This means an advantage that helps you in a negotiation. Example, good performance gives you more leverage.
Word 5, concession. This means something given up to reach an agreement. Example, both sides made a small concession.
Word 6, mutual. This means shared by both sides. Example, it's a mutual benefit for everyone.
Word 7, justify. This means to give good reasons for something. Example, I can easily justify this request.
Word 8, arrangement.
This means a plan or agreement about how something will be done. Example, we came to a fair arrangement.
Word 9, incentive. This means something that encourages a particular action. Example, that's a strong incentive to say yes.
And word 10, reconsider. This means to think about something again, possibly changing your mind. Example, would you be willing to reconsider?
One bonus word, win-win. This means a situation that's genuinely good for both sides. Example, honestly, this feels like a real win-win.
11 great words. Try using 2 or 3 of them the next time you're negotiating something. Now, let's move to say it better.
Instead of saying, I want this, you can say, I'd like to propose something, if that's all right.
Instead of saying, this is better for me, you can say, this would really help me stay more productive.
Instead of saying, you have to say yes, you can say, I hope we can find a way to make this work.
Instead of saying, what about the team, you can ask, how do you think this might affect the team?
Instead of saying, let's just try it, you can say, would it be possible to try this on a trial basis?
Instead of saying, no, you can say, I understand if that's not possible right now.
And instead of saying deal, you can say, that sounds like a great compromise. Thank you.
That last one sounds so much warmer than just a flat, simple deal.
Small changes, but they sound so much more collaborative and so much more like a genuine, respectful negotiation.
I really love float an idea. It makes even a big request feel light and completely low pressure.
Exactly. Gentle framing like that often gets a far more open, positive response than a direct demand ever could.
Okay, quick recap before the challenge. State the request clearly, explain the benefit, address concerns, and invite discussion.
And remember the small fixes too. Be specific, mention mutual benefit, prepare for objections, stay open to discussion, and offer a trial when possible.
4 simple parts, and suddenly negotiating something big at work feels a lot less intimidating and a lot more like a normal professional conversation.
Okay, now for the most important part, today's challenge.
Here it is. Today, negotiate a schedule change with an imaginary boss using the 4-part structure: the request, the benefit, addressing concerns, and inviting discussion.
Record yourself saying it out loud, even just on your phone. Confident, considerate, and genuinely open to discussion.
So, better than my usual approach of just silently hoping my manager notices I'm tired, right?
Much better. Silent hoping has never once successfully changed anyone's schedule.
So, if you want a bonus challenge, try negotiating the same request 2 ways, one formal, one casual, just like we practiced today.
And if you feel brave, post it in the comments or share it with the hashtag #RealLifeEnglishChallenge. Day 25 done. 5 more days to go.
And remember, negotiating something big isn't about being the boldest person in the room. It's about being clear, considerate, and genuinely open.
Exactly. Even a big request, framed thoughtfully, can lead to a real productive conversation instead of an awkward standoff.
I love that. From silently hoping to confidently asking, clearly and respectfully.
Well said. And remember, this is English Podcast. Simple English, real life, every day.
See you tomorrow for day 26.
Bye for now, and good luck with that schedule negotiation.